Hi, I'm James, and welcome back to Storytime with James. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like. All right. A little orange juice. Yeah, this one's called Can We Have Court Now? Yes. That seemed like a funny phrase, don't it? But this is what I used to use on the officers back in the day. This was like back in the 80s and stuff like that. I used to use that on the officers when they pulled me over in my car. Yes. You know, I was driving a Buick Electra 225, a deuce and a quarter. Yeah, man. The state. I got on the expressway, on the expressway, and I was driving on the expressway, and I was speeding a little bit. And then the lights came, and I got pulled over. This was the first time it happened to me. So the police came up to me. He said, "Let me see your license and stuff." So I handed it to him and stuff, because I had just got my license, you know. I handed it to him, but they wasn't asking for insurance or anything, and they wasn't asking if you had your seatbelt on, because I didn't have one on. So he went back to his car. Then he came back to he was ready to give me a ticket, and I asked him. I said, "Hey, can we have court now? Can we have court now? And then I'll pay the fine." You know. When I said that, he looked at me. He said, "What? What?" I said, "Yeah." So I pulled out I pulled out 30. It was $32 I had in my pocket. Pulled it out. I said, "Here." And the officer said, "Sit back in your car." But he took the money. He went back in his car. He got in the car like he was checking for stuff. And he came back to me and threw my license in the car. And then he drove. He drove away. And I was so crazy. I was sitting there waiting on him to come back and stuff. He never came back. So I said, "Wow." So I said, it worked. And I was happy about it, you know. So after that, then I got pulled over again. This time it was a straight violation. My tags in the window. See, in Chicago, you used to have a tag in your front window and a sticker on the back, you know. So mine was expired, you know, and I got pulled over. And then the police came up to the car. He said, "Hey, let's see your license." I handed him the license, and he's ready to go back to the car. I said, Officer." He came back to me. He said, "What's up?" I said, "If you look back in the bag in the back of my car, you may find something in there. It may be a nice little sandwich or something in there for you." He said, "What in the world?" So he reached in my back seat and got the bag, a McDonald's bag, wrapped up tight. And he took it back to his car. And he got in the car, and then all of a sudden, I was looking through my rearview mirror, and then I saw him throw the bag out the car. And I said, "Oh man," I said, "my luck done ran out on me now." But after he threw the bag out the car, he drove off. And I looked down on the side of my seat, and there was my license right there. So 2 times. It happened 2 times, you know. So I could have got in real big trouble for doing that. But that was my go-to thing, right? So then after that, I started keeping like 30 or 40 bucks in my car. Keeping 30, 40 bucks in my car. So then this last time I was driving down the street. I was driving down Cottage Grove, and I was getting ready to pull into the gas station, but they had some cones up there because it was like a hole in the ground, you know, like a pothole, you know. So I went around it and went into the gas station, and then police pulled me over. He said, "Man, what you pulling in here like that for?" I said, I was trying to avoid that hole." He said, "No, let's see your license and stuff like that." But I forgot my license. I didn't have my license on. So I told him, I said, "I don't have my license, man, but here's my name and stuff and my social security, you know." And he was getting ready to run that. So I just said, officer. He said, what do you want? What do you want? I said, "Let me talk to you." I said, "Can we have court now?" He said, "Oh yeah?" He said, "Step out the car, step out." So I stepped out the car, and I stood there and said, "Hey, can we have court now?" And I just paid the fine and everything for whatever I done and stuff, and that's it, you know. He said, okay. I was ready to reach in my pocket. He said, don't reach in your pocket." So I put my hands up, you know, and he said, he wrote me up for irregular right turn, stickers expired, and driving without a license, you know. Even though I gave him all my information, he still didn't run it. He wrote that, and he wrote me up for bravery. So I said, what is this? He said, "Bravery, you try to bribe me, you know." I said, "Oh my goodness, what?" Man, and I ended up spending the night in jail. I spent the night in jail. I forget which jail station he took me to. I think he took me to 11th and State. And at 11th and State, I got up early in the morning and went to court. They let me come out to go to court, you know. So after that, I never did it again. Never. Man. So don't y'all try this, you know. Maybe it worked for me twice, but third time was a charm, you know. It was a doozy, you know. So I had to spend the night in jail for that. For bravery and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. But it taught me a valuable lesson, you know. It taught me never to, don't drive around with your, if you know your plates and stuff is out, your sticker is out, don't drive, and always have your license on you. And try, if you don't have your license, try to have a state's ID. You need to have a state's ID. So, all right, you guys, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like. And hit that bell notification. Hit that bell notification so that you know every time I drop another video. Yeah. And share. Share my videos with your family. Share my videos with your friends. Share my videos with your loved ones. And even share it with your enemies. Yep. Peace. Adios. Salamat. Be law-abiding citizen.